Oh boy, yeah. Again, if we do a little research and we do a little learning, we're going to find, why is there a census? The reason that we have a census is to apportion the representative form of government, those who represent the population of the people. Originally, our nation was set up to do the following. All this morass, the big states, the little states, they're all sitting around there saying, what type of government are we going to have? My state has a lot of people. Why should you have more representatives than I do, says the little state. I don't want to be involved in that. So all of a sudden this great compromise comes about, and a brilliant thought enters the mind of our founding fathers. It says we're going to have 2 senators from every state that represent the state's rights. You mentioned the 10th Amendment earlier, sir. The 10th Amendment, for those of you who are not familiar with it, states that all powers that are not expressly given to the federal government in the enumerated powers of the Constitution are expressly reserved for the states and the people. So if it doesn't say that the federal government has this authority, again, let's use the education example. It doesn't say it, therefore they don't have it. That power, those rights, those liberties, those decisions are to be made by the states and the people respectively. It is a key point of what we have lost. How do you represent those states' rights? You give them 2 senators. Every state has 2 senators to ensure that there is a state's representation, to guard states' rights. Well, the big states with lots of population said, well, yeah, but I don't want to just have 2, and Vermont has 2. For Pete's sake, I got more people. So we created the other half of it, the House of Representatives. Based on the population of your state, we will allot you a representative for X number, depending on the size of our nation. For the X number of people you have, you will get a representative. So we're going to have a census every 10 years to find out, maybe Illinois is really kicking Iowa's butt here in the competition side, and everybody left Iowa and they went to Illinois. Well, Iowa gets 1 representative. The minimum number you can have is 1. And Illinois gets more now because everybody left Iowa because it was a socialist utopia. Nobody could make any money. And they all moved to Illinois where it's capitalism. Iowa gets 1. Illinois gets more in coalition with the growth of their population. That's why you have a census. Now, it is to take account of the citizenry, to represent the citizenry. It's not to take an estimate of the count of the citizenry. And it's also, this is the latest one that's come out, it is not to take account of everyone who has crossed our borders illegally, which they are now going to do. So when you combine the two with, I'm going to take account of everyone who's crossed the borders illegally along with the citizenry, and I'm just going to make an estimate of this thing. We'll use some kind of formula and we'll take a wild guess instead of actually counting the number of people who are there. You have now opened yourself up to a tremendous amount of fraud. That's right, what's new? So, I heard this yesterday, and I think we had recorded Fox News, and when I get in late at night and I'm decompressing at the end of the day from the hard work day outside, I come in and freak out watching all this stuff. So I'm sitting there with my wife, and my mouth dropped open. She said, baby, you didn't hear that yet? I said, no. This is a new one on me. I didn't know that they were going to count all the illegals as well. So I looked at her and I said, Congress cannot allow them to do this. You understand, Congress cannot allow these people to get away with this. And she said, they're the ones who are going to benefit from guessing. It's the political part. You may remember all the stories about gerrymandering. It's probably one of the things that you learned in history class or government class, gerrymandering. Now, can you imagine the gerrymandering that can take place when we just guessed how many people were out there and we counted the people who are not here legally in the first place and should leave? I don't care if you want to be here. My grandparents wanted to be here. They came through Ellis Island. My grandma tells stories about people coming over and being told, you can't come here. I'm sorry, you do not meet the standard. You must return. Get your illness taken care of and come back. Try it again. But we can't bring you in here like that. When they came here, this is the greatness of our nation. When they came here, my grandpa came over and dug ditches to get enough money to send for my grandma, dug tile line ditches for farmers in the field by hand, to get enough money to send for my grandma and come back and try and start a farm. Grandma said, I'm not being sent for, if you want me to come to America, you come get me. In Denmark. And he did. And when they started farming, they had one pot, one pan, one cup with a broken handle, one plate. Grandma would cook food for Grandpa, give it to him on his plate. While she was cooking the rest of the meal, she would take the plate and eat, and they shared the coffee cup. That's what they started with. And because of America being the land of the free and the home of the brave, they were able to succeed based on that. But you see, they had a tangible thing that they knew was going to happen. They were free. They were free because people were being held accountable to freedom. And you're not going to have that anymore if everything gets gerrymandered and guessed at. This is another example where, you want to go to a town hall meeting, for example. I think Representative Latham has one coming over in Mason City. There you go. Thank you. You can go over there and you can tell them, hey, Representative, what are you going to do about this, and what type of statement, like over your dead body, is this going to take place? I mean, when are you going to stand up and say, no way, what is your plan, Representative, to ensure that our census is not the confiscation of liberty? Which it really is. Your very vote for representation at the federal level will be adjusted and changed on a guess and on falsification.